Hello everyone, this is Spring Porter with Spring Solutions LLC. In this video, I want to talk about dismissed cases in Chapter 13, and this would be another reason as to why you see a lot of these claims in the unclaimed funds locator where the money goes back to the debtor. If you are new to my channel, please don't start with this particular video. This is going to go way down the rabbit hole and take a closer look at Chapter 13 plans, what they look like, the trustees report, and we're going to really look at why these cases get dismissed in like a little bit more detail. So if you're new to my channel, please start with maybe Bankruptcy 101, Chapter 7 and Chapter 13 differences and similarities, and maybe start with why there are unclaimed funds. Start with those two videos first before you kind of get into this one. So let me just start with saying I'm not an attorney. This is not indicated as legal advice. I've been a paralegal for about 10 years on the side of debtor and creditor. So this is just for research purposes only. If you're a funds locator, this may be helpful for you. Please note that if you are a funds locator, you won't have to do this for every particular case or potential lead. This is just going to hopefully give you a better understanding of what these cases look like, why they get dismissed, and you can use some of this information if you would like to maybe reach out to the debtor. It could help you make a substantial kind of pitch in order for them to work with you. So this could be helpful, especially if the amount is worth, let's say you're working on a $200,000, $300,000 claim. You want to get, as much detailed information about maybe the debtor that you can. And let's do that now. So we're going to look at two specific cases. This one right here is in Idaho. It looks like Joseph and Francine Tucker, husband and wife, they're going to get this amount back. But we're not really looking specifically at unclaimed funds in this particular video. We really just want to look at why the case got dismissed to begin with. All right, so once you plug into Pacer, if you're new to my channel, again, Pacer is not a free site. ECF Pacer is not a free site. It does charge you to download documents, so just be aware. So you plug this in, plug this case number in Pacer, you pull it up, and here you have their court docket. And as I mentioned in previous videos, this heading has, detailed information. It has the style of the case, the date that it was filed, the date it was dismissed. And here we have their case was dismissed October the 31st, 2014, and it was dismissed for failure to make plan payments. Not every jurisdiction spells it all out as to why. This does, and if you wanted to know how far behind they are, just keep reading. So I pulled up a few of their dockets. This is the Chapter 13 plan. Chapter 13 plans are essential to a Chapter 13. It spells out what is going to get paid and to what rate, how much they're going to pay into the court every month, what the payments to the trustee look like. So this information is here. So this husband and wife have this Chapter 13 plan. All right. All these plans look different in every jurisdiction. So payments to the trustee, it's right here in black and white. It looks like they're in a 60-month plan, so they're in a 5-year plan, and they're going to be paying to this court-appointed trustee $1,850 a month, so $1,850 a month for 5 years, right? If you go further down, it will tell you what's included in that $1,850 fee. So right here, we have the attorneys get paid through the plan. So $3,000, I guess, is the max. It's a local rule. So every jurisdiction has, again, their local rules, and the fees are associated with that. So this particular debtor's attorney only received $1,000, probably just to initiate the case and do the initial filing. So the remaining $2,000 is going to be included into that fee every month that goes to the court. So attorneys really don't get paid as much. Bankruptcy attorneys don't get paid as much as you would think. The ones who are doing litigation get paid more. I would assume, because they can charge, an hourly rate or on contingency fee. This right here is just a flat fee. So that's going to get paid. And if we go further down, we'll see if they have any other things that are outstanding, like a mortgage or typically what's in a plan are secured debts or priority claims. So we're looking at unpaid taxes that could be listed in a plan, anything backed by collateral, so a vehicle, a mortgage, a condominium, right? So far I'm scrolling down. I haven't seen, okay, so here we are, secured claims. These particular claims or debts are not in default. So this 2013 Dodge Durango, they have a vehicle. This vehicle, they're going to pay this vehicle directly to the creditor. Now, if they were in arrears, let's say their mortgage was in arrears, their car was in arrears, their arrears would be paid also to the trustee. So in this particular case, they're just going to pay directly. So it looks like they have 1, 2, 3. They have 4 vehicles that they're paying directly to the creditor. So that's 877, 707, 257, 360. In addition to all of these particular cars, they have to also continue to pay the trustee that 1850. Then with these cars, there's maintenance, there's insurance, there's regular household bills, there's mortgage, there's rent. I mean, you get the gist of it. There's a lot of money here that they're having to pay. It doesn't look like they're surrendering any vehicles. And maybe their attorney couldn't sway them or suggest to them to maybe surrender a vehicle. All right, so this is what their plan looks like, and this is what they proposed to pay every month, was that amount, that 1850. All right, so if we go further on, we know that their case didn't work. It was dismissed, and it was dismissed right here. This is the trustee's motion to dismiss, because this is how much they owed, $5,600. The debtor is delinquent in plan payments. So they couldn't keep up with it. A lot of these cases, they can't keep up with these payments. That's a lot of money for someone who's already strapped for cash, having to come up with all this money every month, along with living every month. And then, emergencies come up too. So there's things that always come up, and the cases fall apart. This is a prime example of people living beyond their means and they don't want to give up anything. Surely they probably could have done away with, maybe 1 or 2 vehicles. They have 4. Or maybe, granted, maybe they had kids or something, but hey, you have to be able to afford things. So, yeah, at any rate, this case got dismissed for failure to make plan payments, and this is the amount that they were behind. And if you go further into their case, there's a trustee's final report. This document is usually toward the end of the case. In some jurisdictions, this is the document that you may need to submit or support your application for unclaimed funds. So if you read this particular form, and it's usually on page 2 or 3, and it will tell you what the debtor actually paid. So this Joseph and Francine Tucker only paid $1,800 toward the court. That's it. They owed $5,600. They paid $1,800. And so after the trustee took out his fee, trustee expense and compensate, he only got $180 from this particular case. And if you look further, you see that their attorney didn't get paid anything. So once the trustee took out his money, this remaining portion goes back to the debtor because there's nothing to pay. You can't pay back all the creditors. The trustee is no longer working in this case once the case gets dismissed. So here you have attorney that didn't get paid. You have debtors who are owed money. And if you didn't get paid on a case, you're not going to go above and beyond and try to recover unclaimed funds for the debtor. And this is another reason why I didn't like working for bankruptcy attorneys. You do all this work for them. It takes a lot of work and time to get the debtors to give you information, to give you the tax returns, to give you pay stubs, to give you everything to make this case work, and then you know deep down that it's not going to work. So that's frustrating. It's not a rewarding field, bankruptcy in particular, in the debtor side of things, because things fall apart, as we see here. So here you have it. This case was dismissed, and that's why there are funds that go back to the debtor for this particular case. So I hope I haven't lost anyone. I hope that makes sense. Let's move on to the next one. I have another one I want to show you. This one is the Southern District of Florida, and it's this Mr. Garcia's case. So we're going to look at his case and see what went on with him. What happened? His case was dismissed for other reason. What other reason? Let's see. So let's pull up his plan. And I'm always talking about the differences between the jurisdictions, and the plan that we just saw from the husband and wife, it looks totally different than this one in Florida, right? So this particular debtor is paying $16.39 for 5 months, and then in the middle of the month, 6, he's going to be paying $16.91, and then toward the end of the months, he's going to be paying $11.96. So this guy is paying a 3-year plan, and the previous case we saw they were paying into a 5-year plan, right? So he's going to have to pay back this, and then this is the administrative fees, which are broken down, and it has the attorney's fee. It has the total paid. I guess he paid the attorney's fees like a down payment. They usually take a deposit, $1,500, and so there's a balance here that is going to be paid out between months 1 and 10. And then a secured creditor here, and it's interesting that they put it up here and they didn't put it in the boxes, but they kind of move things around. It looks like this is a mortgage, because it has the address listed here, and it says adequate protection payments, contractual rate at 1040. So this person filed bankruptcy to save a home, potentially. That's what it looks like. And so it doesn't spell out if there are arrears. It doesn't have a balance of the mortgage. It doesn't have a lot of information. It just has adequate protection payments. And that's sort of a payment, like a good faith payment, basically, before you pay back everything else. So this is the way that this is written. And then they have a little sentence here as to how much they're going to pay back the unsecured creditors. So that's like the Macy's card, the credit card, the Target card. This is how much they're going to pay them every month, like $48. So this is just a proposed plan. This is not set in stone unless the court says it's the final plan and what you're going to pay. It's confirmed. This particular one doesn't appear to be confirmed. It's just a proposed plan. So this is what they wanted to do for this one, and it does look strange. One of the things that I was tasked with when I worked for the credit union was to look at the Chapter 13 plans and to determine if we were going to get paid. Were we going to get the car payments? Are we going to get the mortgage payments? Are they even listed here? And so if this were our credit union listed here, I would probably file an objection to this plan because it's not complete. It doesn't say what the balance is. It just says there's a protection plan. But is that the monthly mortgage fee? Like, it's not complete. So at any rate, let's continue on. And we know it was dismissed because this is what the court docket says. And it looks like it was dismissed because it just wasn't confirmed. Confirmation of the Chapter 13 plan is sort of the trustee and the judge's stamp of approval that's saying, yeah, this plan is sufficient enough, and things are going to get paid back. Creditors are going to get sufficiently paid back what they're supposed to get paid back, and it seems fair. But this particular case, it was denied. So the trustee didn't like something that was going on in the plan. And as you can see, it doesn't look right anyway. Okay, maybe just something was left out, it doesn't work. So if you move on to that final report, the trustee's final report, it will further spell out, what was paid, what didn't get paid. And in this particular instance, see, if you see the scheduled creditors, you'll see $182,000. So this is probably what the remaining balance is, right? And up here, this particular debtor paid a substantial amount to the court. He paid over $8,000. Now, the previous case, the debtors paid a little bit, but they were in arrears to the court of $5,600. So this case did not get dismissed because he didn't have the money. It got dismissed because they couldn't get the plan to be confirmed. There was something missing, either something in his income didn't make sense, or it was, the fact that there wasn't enough debtors maybe listed or creditors listed inside the plan. So at any rate, the trustee took his fee of $319, and this is what is left over. This $7,877 is what gets refunded to Mr. Garcia, right? So that's why the funds are there. And if you look again, the attorneys did not get paid. There's $0 paid through the plan to the debtor's attorney. So the debtor's attorney did all this work in putting this plan together, putting this case together, reaching out, going to court for this particular debtor, and he didn't get that much money. So he's probably not going to want to work with Mr. Garcia and try to recover his funds. So in case you were wondering why the debtor's attorney does not go after these particular claims, they do sometimes on occasion, but more often than not, they don't, because they just don't want to be bothered. They're like, we've contacted Mr. Garcia many times to give him all these, give us the documents that we needed initially, and now here he is. He didn't pay his payments. They're kind of over and done with this particular debtor at this point. And trust me, I know, having worked with debtors' attorneys, I see that once the case is dismissed, they're like, okay, I'm no longer representing them, right? So here you have two different cases in two different jurisdictions. Both have the word dismissed on the top, but you have for completely different reasons. One, again, is dismissed because they failed to make payments of $5,600, and the other one is dismissed because they couldn't get a good plan together, right? So I hope this makes further sense into understanding the docket. And again, you could potentially use some of the information that you see on these different cases when you're reaching out to the debtors. If you were contacting Mr. Garcia and you felt like you needed to really say something to get him, to convince him to work with you, you could say, I was reviewing the court docket. I saw, that there was a plan. It doesn't look like it was confirmed. It looks like you paid a good decent amount to the court, but did you know that a lot of that money was coming back to you? I mean, you can really, really sort of show your colors here with reviewing the court dockets and reaching out to the debtors in that way. All right? So I hope that was helpful. I hope I didn't lose anyone and didn't go too far down the rabbit hole. But again, I think it helps to know and understand the why. If you understand why things are the way they are, then it helps you build a case. It helps you build your confidence when you're talking to the debtors and even the creditors. Again, as I mentioned in my previous video, when you're reaching out to creditors, they are bankruptcy specialists. They're going to know this, and you need to be on that level, as I mentioned. And this is one way to be on that level, is to really start understanding what you're seeing here. Start occasionally, if it's worth the risk, going through some of the court dockets and really understanding why it was dismissed. Looking at the trustee's report, looking at the plan itself. Um, you know, if you're really wanting to learn and take this to the next step, that's something that you would have to do. So I hope this is helpful. Please let me know in the comment section if these types of videos are helpful to you. I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Have a good night.